This is Next Steps for Seniors with your host, Wendy Jones. Each week, Wendy brings resources and information to help guide you through those next steps with elderly parents and loved ones. You can follow, subscribe, and share on your favorite podcast platform. If you have questions or topic suggestions for Wendy, you can call us at 248-651-5010 or email at hello@nextstepsforseniors.com.
Good morning and welcome to Next Steps for Seniors, Conversations on Aging. I'm your host, Wendy Jones. And as you all know, I have such a passion to share information, give resources, and just, have real conversations as we age. Because guess what? It happens to everybody. And today is no different. I have Dr. Sheryl Duchess with me in the studio. She is a certified naturopathic doctor. She is the founder of Institute of Naturopathic Wellness and has dedicated the last 28 years of her life to getting to the root cause of diseases instead of putting a Band-Aid on it, right? And as you all know, I feel so the same way because why is this happening to us and what can we do to help prevent it? And that is why she's here today. So hello, doctor. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing great, Wendy. Great to be here. Awesome.
So grateful that you're with us today. And thank you for dedicating your life's work to this because we really need to learn more about our bodies and why and how things happen and then what we can do about it so that we can be healthier as we age, right?
Exactly. It's all about education.
Yep.
Applied
and that's
education. Yes.
Exactly. And that's why we're here today. So thank you. So I want to get into a little bit about, as we're aging, I feel like vitamins and minerals are a hot topic, right? Mm-hmm. What are the vitamins and minerals that are depleted as we age that are really necessary that maybe people don't even know about?
Yeah. Well, the fact of the matter is that our food source actually is 59% less nutritious value than it was 40 years ago. So we are not getting, one of the biggest things we're not getting is minerals. And because they're not in the soil anymore, your vegetables, should be able to access minerals when they're grown and the farmers aren't required to put them back in. And so we are desperately mineral depleted. And when you don't get enough minerals in, you can't absorb your vitamin C, your vitamin E, and other really important vitamins. And on top of that, our foods are picked green. They don't ripen on the vine. They're gassed. And we just really we are nutrient deficient, which is causing a lot of disease. One of the top ones that comes to mind, other than minerals, which I really promote, taking some extra minerals to just have that foundation. But the other one that's really big is vitamin B depletion.
B? Okay.
B, vitamin B like boy. Yeah. 44% of the population don't methylate their B vitamins, meaning that when you eat your meal, you have to break down the B in order for you to get it into your bloodstream. Well, if you have the MTHFR gene, then you don't methylate that B vitamin. So you'll have fatigue, you'll have brain fog, some people even have ADD, dyslexia. But a lot of people don't understand that also the medications that they're taking, like blood pressure medication, like even birth control. I mean, lots of your meds, almost every med wipes out your B vitamins. Also, alcohol wipes it out, coffee. So we're really deficient in B vitamins. So people are having brain fog and fatigue and hormone imbalance because they're not getting these B vitamins in. So B's are really important.
Yeah. What's so interesting, I don't want to cut you off, but what's so interesting is when you think about these B vitamins, brain fog, who doesn't have brain fog, right? That's what I'm thinking. And to have an answer like it could just be your B vitamin versus, am I early stage Alzheimer's? I mean, there's such a significant difference between those two. Yeah. So my understanding is there's like a couple different types of Bs, like 3, 6, 12, whatever. I don't know all the numbers, but is there a specific B vitamin that we should be taking?
Well, you need a B complex, but it's also about the absorption. But the three B vitamins that need to be methylated are B6, B12, and folic acid. Those have to be methylated.
Okay, I was close.
A lot of people to absorb. You're doing good. Yeah. But yes, it's all about getting the absorption in. Another supplement that I think is really lacking is magnesium. Over 50% of the population, especially seniors, don't have enough magnesium. And that's going to cause muscle cramping. That can be the reason for migraine headaches. It can be the reason for disrupted sleep. And again, magnesium is a mineral. So taking it in tablet form isn't the best. And so, I'm a big proponent of magnesium. The third one would be checking vitamin D levels. So many people are low in vitamin D, which when you're low in vitamin D, you have immune compromised. Even the studies, with COVID showed that mobility rates were much higher with people that had low levels of vitamin D. But vitamin D is so good. It's important for your bones, for you to be able to absorb your calcium, but it's also immune function. So vitamin D, like dog. Okay.
Yes.
That is one of the most deficient. And even in Florida, where I live, we find that all the practitioners I work with, yes, the patients are deficient. You think here in the Sunshine State, we wouldn't be, but they are. And so they need to get those levels up to around 70 to 80 nanograms to be healthy and really support, especially when you're older, because you really want to boost that immune system, right?
Absolutely.
So that's the other one. And then having on board a super antioxidant, because we're fighting free radical damage as we age, we get more accelerated aging. We think of antioxidant as like an apple when you cut it and it turns brown. Think of a super antioxidant like lemon juice on an apple. It's going to donate electrons and it's going to help the cells stay healthier. And so we need definitely to be supplementing with a super antioxidant. Yeah.
Okay. This is so good. I love, you just gave us three huge answers to many, many problems. Mm-hmm. And my next question is, so a lot of people are buying these over the counter, like a tablet. How does the vitamins actually get delivered into the bloodstream? And here's why I ask that. I was told once that liquid vitamin D is better than a tablet. Like, is that true? Like, talk a little bit about how it goes through the bloodstream.
Yeah, that's one of my things. Back when I first really started my practice, I was using tablets encapsulated and some tinctures, and I wasn't getting results with my patients because they weren't absorbing them. The older you get, the less hydrochloric acid your stomach makes, meaning you can't break down these tablets. So we have x-rays showing vitamins being pooped out right in the toilet or in the porta potties, So,
oh my goodness.
Oh, absolutely. So delivery system is so important. And so, actually, my favorite delivery system is a powdered vitamin line that mixes with water that becomes a liquid, but it's called isotonic, meaning that it's the same osmotic pressure as your bodily fluids. So when you drink these, your stomach doesn't have to break it down. It automatically sees it as almost like your saliva, and it squirts it into the small intestines where it has enough potassium and the right ingredients to pull it into the bloodstream. And that's what it's all about. It's up to 95% bioavailability.
So the tablets, okay, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Where tablets are maybe a good one, maybe 30, 40%. That's a good one without the binders. And I'm not going to name names, but your cheaper ones that you're getting at Costco and, Walmart and, popular ones that are advertised literally have binders and shellac on them and they can make you sick. They're not good. Your stomach is not breaking them down. And so especially as we age, we've got to address the absorption. Okay. And if you're not feeling your vitamin, it's probably because you're not absorbing it. And that's what changed my practice 25 years ago when I discovered this isotonic delivery because I was looking for IV therapy. And I see just amazing vitamin D levels coming up. I see, anti-inflammation coming down. I see a lot of markers, C-reactive proteins and things like that with patients because they're getting these nutrients in the bloodstream. So it's really powerful.
Well, and they've got to have more energy. They've got to feel better, be a little sharper. Less sick, right? I know vitamin D I take every day just because of its immune boosting mechanisms, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that and bone, because, as seniors, as we get older, and I am a senior, I don't mind telling people my age. I'm 70 years old and I feel amazing. I'm on no medications, all herbals and all vitamins. But
Well,
absolutely.
you look fantastic.
Oh,
Absolutely. We're on video and audio, just so everybody knows.
Thank you. So, yeah, I think that, getting the right nutrients in, it's an insurance policy. You should be eating whole organic foods, lots of fruits and vegetables, especially vegetables. I always tell people, 6 to 9, even 12 vegetable servings a day, 2 to 3 fruits a day, good lean proteins and good fats. But you're kidding yourself in the United States of America if you're not supplementing, and you need the type that's going to really be bioavailable. Yeah.
So let me ask you this. You mentioned isotonic. In our next segment, I really want to talk about, things that are happening with inflammation and things like that. But before we get to that, I would love to know if people are interested in getting this liquid vitamin, or how could they order that?
Okay. Well, the one that I highly recommend, it's funny, the name of it is called isotonic anti-aging formula. And what they did with this formula is, again, it's powders, you mix with water. It tastes like a juice, so it's really delicious. It has up to 95% bioavailability, but it has those minerals, those isotonic, those ionized minerals, which will really help your energy. It has the B complex. It has a really hefty amount of magnesium, which, again, if you're struggling with bowel movements, or you're struggling with, any type of discomfort in the head, in the joints, sleep, magnesium. And this has got over 400, I think 500 milligrams of the best type of magnesium. And then it also has a high amount of vitamin D. So
is there a website or something that they could order that through? The website is shop.com/health4seniors.com. So you're tuning in Next Steps for Seniors, Conversations on Aging. We'll be back in just a moment to talk more about inflammation. Welcome back to Next Steps for Seniors, Conversations on Aging. I'm your host, Wendy Jones, and we are here today with Dr. Sheryl Duchess. And what an amazing woman with so much knowledge, a naturopathic, and has really dedicated her life to getting to the root cause, right? Let's not just keep receiving, oh, here's your problem, here's a medication to fix it. Let's figure out why. Let's figure out what else we can be doing to stay healthy longer so we can live a long, healthy life. And in this segment, we're going to be talking about inflammation and blood sugar stabilization, which I believe kind of go hand in hand. But we're blessed to have Dr. Sheryl Duchess with us today. So doctor, if you could just explain inflammation to us in, layman's terms, so to speak, just to kind of get started with this segment.
Yeah. Inflammation is a lot of people think it is always bad, but it's not. If you cut your finger or you sprain your ankle, that's healthy inflammation where the body is getting alerted and it puts blood and energy and white blood cells to heal that area. What the problem we're talking about is chronic inflammation. So things like arthritis, that it can lead to heart disease, a cognitive decline. It's the chronic, if you have any type of chronic pain in your body that's all the time, that's what we call chronic inflammation. And that can lead to diabetes, heart disease, really serious diseases. So we want to make sure that the body isn't inflamed on a chronic basis. Okay. So that's what we want to do. That's what we need to do. Yeah.
And you can get those results like in a blood test. Cause I know one time I remember getting my blood work done and they said, oh, you have a lot of inflammation in your body.
Yes. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because it's one of the things I educate my clients and patients to is get a C-reactive protein test. That will measure your inflammation markers. And that, if they're high, that puts you at a very high risk for stroke and heart attack. And a lot of medical doctors don't test that regularly, and you can request it. And it's not a super expensive test, but everybody should know they're C-reactive protein markers. Yeah. Yeah, because
Okay.
inflammation
See,
is the root of all disease. So, and when you're chronically inflamed, you normally have blood sugar issues. And that's the other issue, that we have so many people that have either pre-diabetic and diabetes. In fact, the numbers are staggering. There's an estimated 38% of adults have pre-diabetics, and nearly 48%, almost 50% that are people over 65 are pre-diabetic, according to the CDC in the United States.
oh
So
my
it's
goodness.
scary. It's really scary. And it's, we just have way too much sugar going in our diets, way too much processed foods. And, we need to help again, reduce inflammation and get the blood sugar stabilized. Yeah.
Okay, so I 100% love this topic. It is like one of my favorite things to talk about. I think everybody who's listening to the program already knows that about me. I have been checking my blood sugar, and I am not kidding you, since I was 40. And I just went to CVS, got the little thing, and just do my finger every morning. And the reason is because I was doing this little analysis, and someone said, "Oh, you should keep an eye on your sugar." And thank goodness I have noticed it going up. So talk to us about, obviously eating healthy is a big deal, right?
Yeah.
Is it true your blood sugar should be under like 120?
Yes.
Ish. Let's just say that. I'm not a doctor, but I'm going to say that.
Or no, you want it to be like 90. You don't really want it to be like over 100. You want to keep it really, like right in that sweet spot. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And I know your A1C is another really important number. That's got to be under 6.0.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
But yeah, of course, we want to look at our diet. Too much sugar, whether you're drinking, a lot of people drink coffee, they add sugar, they do sodas. That's one of the worst things we do, is just drinking sugar all the time. But also, you'd be surprised, the high carbohydrate, content, your starches and all that, going to raise your sugar. So eating a low glycemic meal, like, vegetables and good healthy fruits and good lean proteins, that'll help to stabilize your blood sugar. And, trying to, get out and get exercise. We know all these basic things, but there are supplements that I use that I've seen to be very, very effective to help with both inflammation and blood sugar. And so a lot of times, even when a client is trying to do good, especially once the blood sugars have kind of started to creep up, we need to kind of supplement to help, again, because they become insulin resistant, where the sugar is not.
Please tell us about those. I am very curious what those products are.
Yes. Okay.
In order to
as we said in the
help with
last
inflammation
podcast, it's
and
all
blood
about
sugar.
absorption. Yeah. And so, one of the formulas that I use for blood sugar and for inflammation is a formula called OPC3. And it is a very, very strong antioxidant, and it's been clinically studied to lower those C-reactive proteins by 52%. It's been clinically studied to lower blood sugar by 10%. And it's amazing, because one of the main ingredients in there is pycnogenol out of France. And I stumbled on this formula years ago, and it's just been such a blessing, because I don't have to give people like a bunch of different things to accomplish the same goal. But, you really want to target, getting those blood sugars stable and getting your inflammation down. And that formula does it very, very easily, because again, it is bioavailable. It's that isotonic delivery system that I talked about before. And I've seen a lot of amazing results with my clients.
Okay. I do want to add, just listeners, I started taking this anti-aging product that she's talking about, and I put it in like 8 ounces of water every morning. Just pour it in, stir it and take it. I cannot even tell you how much more energy. I could notice a difference after a week. I couldn't even believe it. And when I don't take it for a week, I can tell the difference. I just feel like I'm getting all the nutrients I need. Yeah. And whatever you don't need comes out in your urine anyway.
Exactly. And yeah, getting, like we said in that last session together, those B vitamins, those minerals, when you start to get minerals in, you feel better, But adding the super antioxidant that has so much clinical studies. I mean, even going to picknoginal.com, you can study for days if you're clinical. I have seen so much results when I'm working with, and any practitioner that might be listening to me, we all know that if we can help our patients be less inflamed and get their blood sugar stable, we are really winning the game, right? To help the patient. And that's where this OPC3 has come in, and it's a major antioxidant, but it also has the clinical studies of really working at the cells and, patients that have had a lot of joint discomfort, patients that have, again, that are presenting with the blood sugar issues and a lot of inflammation. This is one of my favorite formulas for sure.
So, and I'm just talking as a layman terms, but I have often been told that cancer feeds on sugar. And for us to continue to just putting sugar in our bodies through whatever, I don't care if you have a piece of cake at the end of the day or you're getting it through carbs, but the reality is we need to control this if we want to age healthy. And, arthritis and all these other things with the inflammation is key. So I really appreciate your knowledge on this. And thank you for sharing it, because you are so now, and I can tell the passion that you have and that you want people to know this information. Do you have a website or a phone number, anything you want to share with our listeners that they could get a hold of you directly?
Yeah. So my website is drsheryl.net. So that's not, I'll spell it out, DRSHERYL.net. Okay. And then my direct phone number, 727-599-5842. So if you want to reach out directly and learn more about the education that I give, please feel free. Yeah.
And you actually, why did you get into naturopathic? I'm just curious. We only have 2 minutes left in the program, but I can tell you have such a passion for it.
Oh gosh. Well, I had my own health challenges. I was on antibiotics. I was very sickly as a young woman. I was in the fitness industry. I used to own health clubs, and I was on the cover of Shape magazine, but I was sick so often. I was sick probably 8 to 10 times a year. I was on antibiotics 8 to 10 times a year, which totally messed up my digestive system. It put me into such a weakened immune state that I was lucky if I eliminated twice a month. In fact, in my big lectures, I tease everybody, and my nickname is Dr. Poop. Maybe we'll do another one on digestion, because I really get wound up about the digestive system. But, I found naturopathy because of my own health challenges. And then I went back to school and I said, people need to learn this. They need to understand the basic principles of naturopathy, which is there are no fences in your body. Everything is connected. So again, we want to work with getting your gut and digestion healthy. That affects every part of the body. And we want to get the inflammation down and get blood sugar stable. If you can work on those 3 things, you can get your body into the best shape ever. Every 45 days, our cells renew. So don't ever feel like it's too late. And I feel like $1 million. And when I was younger, I didn't. I was sick all the time. So that's why I studied naturopathy. Yeah.
You look like $1 million. And thank you for your knowledge. Thank you for your passion and educating both myself and all the listeners right now, because we have the control to do this. We can do this on our own. This is something that, God created our bodies to be able to take in nutrients, to use them, and to live longer. And we're the ones that are adding in all the other stuff. So, so let's do this the right way. The website is shop.com/health4seniors.com. You can get a 10% discount on the products on your first order. Write down the code 10 OFF, OFF, M as in Mary, A as in Apple, 10 off MA, and you can get a 10% discount on the products on your first order. The website is shop.com/health4seniors.com. So order those products with the special code if you're interested in either the anti-aging isotonics that she discussed or the OPC3. Or do the research on your own or contact Dr. Sheryl. Thank you again for tuning in to Next Steps for Seniors, Conversations on Aging. Be blessed and take care of yourself so you can live a long, healthy life.